Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the new duplex that I just purchased, how I got such a good deal on this property, and how I was able to generate over $800 a month in cash flow, or how I will get $800 a month in cash flow just from this property right here. And a lot of other people would be looking at this deal and not know what the potential is for this type of property. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. Make sure to check out the links in the description box below. This video is sponsored by those links down there. You can get free crypto, free stocks, all of that stuff by using the links down below. So this is the property that I purchased. This is going to give you all of the information here that you need to know about. So as you guys can see here, this is the property that I purchased. You can see that the sales price was $425. The original listing price was actually $499,900, and I just closed on this just a little bit ago, as you can see. Now this is a duplex. It's 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms on each side, and it's about 2,500 square feet, give or take a little bit. Yeah, 2,448. So just under 1,250 square feet per side. Now, there is a picture here that you can see, but there wasn't any pictures of the inside when I actually made the offer. So I just made an offer subject to inspection when I initially made this offer, and was basically going in blind. Now, the thing about this is that I actually own another property on the same street. It's the same exact style, same exact floor plan and everything. So I know this area very well. I know the properties very well. And really, I was able to just look at the pictures, look at Google Street View, and make an offer in confidence, knowing the rough condition of this property. Now, the thing that you've got to look at as we scroll down here and take a look at the actual information on the MLS, this is where things get really interesting. So you're going to see the rent amounts over here on the left-hand side, and you're going to see this for the 2 units, right? So you've got unit configuration 1 and number 2 right here. Now, the rents that were listed by the listing agent on the MLS were $1,200 for one side and $1,200 for the other side. Now, this is actually off by quite a bit. The rents for property number 1 or unit number 1 is $1,650, and the rents for unit number 2 are $1,690. Now, that does include utilities, so I'm going to have some utility charges there, but after I factor that out, the rents are really closer to like $1,500 per unit. So this was grossly understated, and I think you'd get a lot of people looking at this saying, the rents are only $1,200, it's hard to make the numbers pencil on this. However, knowing the market and knowing what I was getting for the other units on the property that I own down the street, I knew that I was getting, somewhere between, I think those ones are at $1,525 and $1,575 for those other units. So I knew that these, even if they are $1,200, when I turn over these units, I could pretty easily get $1,500 to $1,600 in rent, maybe even more based on how the market is going. So I knew that the rents were grossly undervalued, and the next thing I needed to know was basically just how much is this property actually worth in its current condition. So I'm actually going to throw some pictures up here on the screen so you can see what the inside of the property looked like. When I went and made this offer, like I told you, I did not look at the inside of it. I made it subject to an inspection and just said, hey, I'll take the home. Here's my offer. I just need to see the inside before I can move forward. Well, we finally went out to the property. One tenant was there. They let us in. They let us look around. I had brought my inspector with me. We just did a quick walkthrough. Everything went great. However, for unit number 2, which is the rougher side that you saw here in the pictures, it's a total disaster inside. Unfortunately, that tenant would not let us into the home. They fought us for about 45 minutes, even though they knew we were coming at a certain time. They would not let us into the home. Well, eventually I had to leave to go to another appointment. My inspector stuck around because they said, okay, fine, we'll let you in. We just need to wait for so-and-so to get home. And so they finally got in. My inspector got in, took these pictures for me, and that kind of gave me a rough estimate of the condition of the inside of the property. Now, obviously a pretty rough place to be living, but if this tenant or when this tenant moves out, I'm going to be able to rehab this unit and put some additional money into it and be able to increase the rents even further. So the numbers on this property actually turned out being really good. If we scroll back up here and take a look at the price, you can see the original list price was at $499,900, and I actually came across this deal by making an offer on another property that the owner of this one owned. So I made an offer on another property. I did not get the offer. I got beat out. I just found out by $7,000, which is kind of a bummer because I would have loved to have that one too. It was actually a little bit lower price point, but did need some additional work. But nevertheless, it's fine. I missed out on that house, and the agent who was representing both of these homes came back and said, hey, Cody, this other one's coming available. We just had a deal fall apart. Do you want to, get it? And I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. So I actually made an offer initially at $455,000, and that was my initial offer that was subject to inspection. Now, we went through the process. We had a hard time getting in for the inspection that I just told you about. And eventually, when I found out the condition of the property, I said, look, you know, this is pretty rough. We found some stuff on the outside that needs to be taken care of. We found some stuff, a lot of stuff on the inside that needs to be taken care of. This is going to cost me, you know, somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000 to fix when that time comes. And I knew these numbers because of another property that I had just done the exact same thing on. So I knew roughly what it was going to cost me. And so I went back to the owner and said, look, if I'm going to move forward with this, I'm ready to do so. I can close it in about 2 weeks, but I'm going to need you to drop the price and give me a concession. So this is where you can actually see that the sales price went down to $425, and I got $12,750 in concessions from the seller. So I was at $455 with no concessions, and then dropped it to $425 with $12,750 in concessions. So I was able to negotiate, what is that, $42,000, over $42,000 as a price drop and concessions from the seller. This covered all of my closing costs and allowed me to get the property at a lower price so I can go in and remodel it and now have a property that's going to be worth more when that tenant moves out and I place a new tenant in there. So I honestly did not think that they would go for that. I thought, you know, this is a big enough number that I don't think they're going to go for it. I think they'd rather just go back onto the market and try to sell it again to somebody else for a higher price rather than deal with me at a lower price. But actually they did, you know, that was quite surprising to me, and it kind of worked out. It was a number in my head where I looked at the deal and said, look, this property needs enough work that if they're unwilling to give it to me at the deal, at the price and the numbers that I need, then I'm okay to walk away. I'm okay to walk away from this because there's going to be a better opportunity out there where I can spend my money a little bit more efficiently. So I didn't really think they'd go for it, but lo and behold, they did. They actually ended up going for the property, and this is what we ended up with. So I think that each side is going to need roughly $20,000 to $25,000 worth of work to fix everything on the property. Now, the last thing I want to actually talk about with this property is the value of this property. The cool thing about this is the owner who owned this before me, he actually owned a third duplex that he was going to sell, and the agent came to me and said, hey, Cody, this guy's going to list another duplex. Would you be interested in that one? And I said, yeah, sure. You know, what are the numbers on it? He said, well, he wants to list it at $500. I was like, you know, given where the rents are, which I verified that time, you know, I just said, I just can't pay $500. You know, I could pay $450, but I just can't pay $500 for that property. I just, you know, the numbers are just too tight for what I'm looking for. And so I ended up passing on it, and they listed it, and it ended up going under contract with multiple offers above $500,000 just a couple of days later. So this is the same exact property, maybe a little bit nicer, but it's a very good comparable. So with this home, I just was able to purchase this house for $425,000, even less actually, because of the concessions that I got. I was able to purchase this property for less than that, and actually now own a property that could be worth $500, maybe even $550, given what the rents are actually at. So if you look at this on a net income basis with a cap rate, the value of this property should easily be $500,000, maybe even $550 once it's fixed up a little bit and rents are even just a little bit higher. So the value of this deal that I got is immense. I was able to buy a property for less than $425,000. I should also mention I collected a commission on this deal as well since I represented myself. So that was another, I think, $7,000 or so. That came off the price, you know, the overall price that I paid. So that made this deal even better. I almost locked in $100,000 worth of value just by purchasing this property and getting such a good deal on it. So this is a property that's going to pay me $800 a month in cash flow. It now has over $100,000 in equity based on what I could sell it for and how much I put down. And, you know, this is a slam dunk deal. These are the types of deals that I love looking for. If you live in my area, if you live in Utah and you're looking for a deal like this, reach out to me. I'd love to represent you. I'd love to partner with you. Let's figure out a way to make this a win-win for you and for me. I love talking about this type of stuff. I love doing these types of deals, and these are the types of deals that I'm coming across and taking down. So if you want to be involved in these types of deals, let me know. Reach out to me. And don't forget to check those links in the description box below for all of your free benefits. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Share this video with a friend or family member who's looking at real estate themselves. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.